Hey everyone, thank you for joining us today. We have a very special treat and it will actually blow your mind. Have you ever struggled with weight, losing those extra pounds and you feel old and sluggish? You need to listen to this interview today. So, if you guys want to join us live right now, go ahead and click in the description below, sign up real quick on Eventbrite, and then it'll email you the link to join in into our Discord right now. So, we'll give you about 30 seconds to do that. Let's go ahead and get started.
Adaptive intelligence. You searched for more. You wanted to become the best version of yourself. Your search is over. And the technology finally exists. To go beyond limits. Your time has come. Unleash your potential. AQ. Adaptive intelligence.
All right, and we're back. So let's go ahead and introduce our guest for you guys. So our talk today is called Adaptive Disease and Fatness Destroyers. And so our special guest is named Olivier Mancondo, and he will be presenting something very spicy for us today. So Olivier is a speaker, an author, and I would say quite of a transformation artist, and you'll see what I mean in a second. He is an avid reader and he loves tennis, two things that I love as well. And he's got a pretty good sense of style, if I might add so myself. The thing that he's most well known for, though, is his crazy transformation. You guys need to check this out. This was literally him on the left just a few years ago, and then this is him now. And so he's been doing this from this current time period of about 8 years ago. So it took him 8 years to go from this to this. Not only that, but he also was able to make that same transformation happen for his spouse. So this was them then, and then this is them now. So quite an amazing transformation. He's like I said, he's an author. He has his own audiobook. He has his own courses on how you can achieve the same results naturally. And so if you're lucky, you might just see him at some of our other events, including our healing retreats and our other special events. So without further ado, I'll be bringing to you Adaptive Disease and Fatness Destroyers with Olivier and myself. All right, Olivier, you ready?
Yeah.
So tell us about how you started transformation. Or actually, let's start at the beginning. Like before you started your transformation, what were the things that you were struggling with?
Yeah, so to answer to that question, I will go a little bit back in time. So I was born and raised in Africa, and over there, when I was growing up, there were no computer games, no video games, so we were forced to play outside, running around, climbing trees and stuff like that, playing football. And I was not exposed to a lot of animal product, dairy product, and processed food. So when I was growing up, I was very lean. There was no problem of me being overweight and stuff. My problem started only when I left my country. I went first to South Africa and then I came to the UK. And then my problem started because I was exposed to a lot of animal product, dairy product, and processed food. So, for example, at when I was having my my breakfast, for example, I would have salami, bacon, hot dogs, sausages, white bread, eggs, and all these things. So at every meal, I would have some kind of animal product, and I was having lots of dairy product as well, milk, cheese, and all that. And at my heaviest, I was 220 pounds, and my height is I'm 5'6". So according to my BMI, I was overweight because when your BMI is over 30, your class is obese, and mine was 32. So I was suffering from a lot of chronic diseases. I was suffering from high blood pressure, and people should know that high blood pressure is a very dangerous disease because 50% of people who suffer from strokes, cardiovascular diseases, problem with the kidneys, it's caused by high blood pressure. So high blood pressure is a silent killer, and I was suffering from that. And I even remember there was a day at 3 a.m. I was woken up by a sharp pain in my chest. And I had to wake my wife up because it was unbearable. And she had to call the ambulance, and they took me to the A&E. And over there, I spent a day and a half over there because my blood pressure went through the roof. So not only that I was suffering from that, I was suffering from massive headaches every day or every other day. And in fact, I had to have some painkillers in my wallet all the time because of that. Dandruffs, chest pain, back pain, abscesses, joint pain, uh, and a lot of dental problems because of my bad eating habits. So, for example, at midnight, I will still be eating. I will have my bottle of Coca-Cola with some biscuit and or some cakes and stuff like that. And I was always tired. So, for example, on the day that I had to go to work, I had to drag myself out of bed. And on the day where I was off work, I will sleep until 1 p.m. And I had a lot of problem heartburn, especially when I was eating beans. So basically, that's the situation I was in before my transformation.
Wow, so that's a lot of things that were going wrong for you there. So are
Yeah.
what was the thing that was the worst on you, out of curiosity?
Yeah, the stuff that was disturbing me a lot was the pain, the chronic pain, because all the time I was in pain. For example, I couldn't really bend because of the back problem. I even remember that I spent a week, I didn't go to work because my back was killing me. So it was the pain that I was going through, the chest pain, the back pain, the joint pain. All this was really unbearable, and headaches because I had banging headaches, severe headaches, like I said, every day or every other day. So that's what was really disturbing me.
Yeah, I can relate to that too because prior to changing my diet as well, I also experienced a lot of those things as well. Out of curiosity, what was your mindset like? What was your psychology like in those days?
Yeah, at that time, for me, for example, I had, I would say, a losing mindset because for me, I didn't know that there was something that I could do. For me, I was basically like a victim. And I went to the doctor, and basically they told me that I will be on medication for the rest of my life. So I didn't know what to do. I just went to the doctors because that's what most people will do, and that was my mindset. So it was a victim mindset, basically.
Yeah, and it seems like the doctors just put you further into that victim mindset instead of saying, "Hey, you can actually heal from this naturally, right?" But you figured it out on your own. How did you do that?
Yeah, so what's happened is that when I went to the doctor, like I said, he told me that, okay, you will be on medication for the rest of your life. And instinctively, I said, no, I don't want that, even though I didn't know what I know now. But I said, no, I can't go on medication for the rest of my life. This is very bizarre, and I don't want that. And he told me, okay, what are you going to do? I said, okay, I'm just going to try to join a martial art club and to see if I can get my blood pressure in check. So I went to I joined a karate club, and I was there for 4 years. But my blood pressure didn't change; it was still high. So what's happened is that out of the blue, I was just watching a program on YouTube, and there was an Indian yogi who suggested that by stopping eating animal product, it was possible to reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. And because my health was pretty bad, I said, okay, I'm not losing anything. I'll try that. So it was a Wednesday that I watched that program. And I watched that program, and I told my wife that I was going to stop eating animal product. On Thursday, I came back from work. I had my last meal of meat, and on Friday, I went cold turkey. And that's how I got into this transformation.
Wow. So I'm sure your wife was shocked to hear that, right? Especially because she was probably struggling with some things at the moment too, right? Was she struggling with anything as well?
Yes, at that time, she was overweight. Weight was 200 and I think she was 250 pounds or something like that. And because of that, she was in a bad shape as well, and she was suffering from what it was again. Basically, she was in pain as well, lots of problems. And because of that, for her as well. So what's happened is that after when I decided to change my way of eating, basically, at first I told them that, okay, I'm not going to force anybody to follow me. I will do that on my own. So the first week after deciding to change, the following week was horrendous. So my symptoms got worse. I had lots of detox symptoms. I starting to have. I had a massive headache for 3 days that I've never had in my entire life, and my joint starting to ache even more. And my wife even asked me to stop, but I was so determined. I said, no, I'm going to continue. And that's what people need to understand is that when you change your way of eating abruptly, like me, what will happen is that your body will find enough energy and it will try to get rid of all the toxins. And how the body will do that, it will take all the toxins that were buried into your tissues and will dump that in your bloodstream to get rid of that. And that's what people will feel really, really bad. And for most people, they will stop. They will say, oh, no, this is not working. And as soon as they start, they go back to eat the food that they was using before, all this detox symptom will stop, and they will say, you see, what I was doing was not right. While it's that's the way the body detoxifies itself, it will make you sick before you get better. And then after a week, all my symptoms disappeared. All disappeared because even my wife asked me to stop, but I said no. So after a week, all my symptoms disappeared, and after a week, I was able to lose 11 pounds. And 2 weeks into me changing, my wife saw that, oh, this is working. And that's why she said that she was going to do that as well. And for her as well, like I said, for me, I was able to lose 77 pounds, but for her, she was able to lose 99 pounds. And that's how we got into this. And after a month, we sat our kids and we told them that we were going to change our way of eating. At first, they were not happy, but now they thank me for that. Because, for example, I've got my son. He was suffering from eczema, and for 11 years, and we saw doctors. They prescribed all sorts of cream, that there were no changes. But when we adopted this plant-based nutrition, it only took 2 weeks for him to completely reverse his eczema. So that's how we've got into this. And for me, after 9 months, like I said, I was able to lose 77 pounds. all my chronic diseases were completely gone. So there's no headaches anymore, no back pain, no abscesses. Everything is completely gone. And for the past 8 years, I've not been sick a single day, not even a headache. And I've been able as well to reverse my aging process, because a lot of people, when they see me, they think that I'm in my late 20s, but I'm actually 54. So that's the benefit that I was able to reap from all this transformation.
Wow, so 77 to 99 pounds, that's like a whole person, right? That's like almost an entire
Yeah.
human being, and you lost that as weight. That's impressive. And like you said, like when I first met you, I also thought you were in your 30s, and lo and behold, you're like in your late 50s, or not mid 50s, I would say, like mid 50s, like, but you don't look like
Yeah.
it. So let's talk a little bit about the solution, right? Because like, like everybody thinks that, big pharma and more drugs is the solution, right? That's what society tells us to believe, because, there's incentive for somebody that's not us. How can we break out of that matrix? How can we realize what is actually true versus what's just propaganda?
Yeah. So what people need to understand is that the biggest industry in the world is the pharmaceutical industry, and they can only make money from sick people. So they've got no incentive for them to make you healthy. There's no incentive, because they're going to lose all their money. And for example, for me, for the past 9 years, I've not taken a single pill, not even aspirin or paracetamol. Imagine people changing their lifestyle just like me. But the system will crumble, because you will see that a lot of things are really attached to the pharmaceutical industry. For example, doctors, they will lose, a lot of doctors will lose their jobs, the pharmacists, so basically there will be, the system will crumble. So there's no incentive for these people at the top to show you the way, to tell you that this is what you have to do. And to be able to change that, basically what you need to do is you need to take your health in your own hands. And what do you have to do is to start looking at what you eat, because what people need to understand is that when you go through the medical system, they will only deal with the symptoms and not the root cause, because the root cause is that what you need to look at. It's like, for example, let's say you go to you've got a problem in your car. For example, there's oil, the car is leaking, there's oil leaking, and you look in your dashboard, there's a light which show you that, oh, there's a problem, there's a leak. And you take your car to the garage, and the mechanic just takes out a fuse. In the dashboard, there's no flashing light anymore, and it tells you that, okay, your car has been fixed. You will think that what kind of mechanic is this? Because if you continue to drive the car that way, the oil will continue to leak, and after a bit, your engine will stop, and your car will be good for the scrapyard. And that's exactly what people are doing when they give you medication. It will only deal with the symptoms. You will think that, oh, I've got my symptoms have disappeared, and you will think that, okay, I'm good now. But what people need to understand is that the disease will continue in silence. And one day you will just have maybe a chronic disease, or you will just fall dead, or have a heart attack or something, and people will not understand why. So if you want to really take your health in your own hands, like I've just said, you need to look at the root cause. And for most people, it's the stuff that they eat. When you start eating a lot of animal product, the dairy product, the processed food, all these are not designed for the human mechanism. For example, when you look at the gorilla, with whom we share 99% of the same DNA. But what do gorilla eat? They eat fruit, vegetables, and tender root. Gorillas do not eat meat, although we've got practically the same digestive system. And if you really want to better your system, to avoid all these things, you will have to change your way of eating. And the best way to do that is to adopt a plant-based nutrition, where you stop eating all the animal product, the dairy product, and the processed food. And what you are left to eat is fruit, vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and seed. When you do that, your health will sky to the moon.
Yeah, and it sounds so simple, right? And like it's just people are almost like addicted to the bad stuff, right? So and you even said, like as your body was detoxing, it's almost like you're literally going through withdrawal, right? It's like you're chemically dependent on these pharmaceutical drugs that they are now putting into the food, right? So what are some tricks and some tips to like overcome that short period? Because like you said, it takes like a week to detox and then 2 weeks to change your taste buds, so you actually start to prefer and like healthy food. What's a good way to get through that 2 week of hell basically?
Yeah, so what I will ask people to do personally for myself, I just went through that because uh, since I've grown up, I've got a very good. When I take a decision, I can really stick to it, regardless of what's happened. For most people, it's difficult for them to do that. So for people to be able to go through that transition, what I will ask them to do, for example, is to do the change slowly, not to go a cold turkey like me, because that's not the right thing to do. Because for most people, it's going to put them off. So they need to go slowly, introduce the change very slowly. And if, for example, they cannot stop directly all the animal product, the dairy product and all that, they can introduce some transition food. For example, they can buy tofu, they can buy tempeh, they can buy all this fake meat as transition food, because at the end of the day, they are still processed food, and processed food are not designed for the human mechanism, but they can still use that as a transition food. Or, for example, instead of drinking the cow's milk, they can buy, for example, almond milk, soya milk, rice milk, and stuff like that, or oat milk. For example, if they like ice cream, they can buy the vegan ice cream, which tastes just the same as the ice cream made with cow's milk. So they can introduce this transition food just for them to go through that transition period.
Yeah, and I remember I did that for maybe about like a year when I made the transformation 10 years ago for myself. But then since then I've just completely stopped. I mean, I've been doing it for like a decade now, so I don't really have like the craving like I used to. What are some other tips and tricks to kind of like deal with the societal issue? Because there's a lot of stigma around actually being healthy and eating healthy, and a lot of friends or family members want you to stay trapped in the system of chemical and just traumatic food. How do you overcome that and like have the mental fortitude to just say, hey, like I'm doing this for me. I want to improve. You can do whatever you want, but I know what's good for me and what feels right, because like my body literally felt cleaner when after I made that transition. What are some other tricks?
Yeah, so this is a very difficult a problem for people, especially for me, for example. When I changed my way of eating, apart obviously for my wife and my kids, but my sisters, my cousin, my friends, all that. Basically, it was very, very difficult for me because they're starting really to ridicule me, to mock me, especially as I was able to lose 77 pounds. I lost a lot of weight. And some people were even mentioning that I was HIV positive. And that's something that is very, very bad. And as well, because like I said, I'm from Africa originally. So the way of people in Africa, the way they think sometimes is a little bit bizarre. So because I was not eating animal product anymore, some people thought that I was an occultist. I was maybe John, I was maybe a Freemason or something like that. So they really, really attacked me. And the way that you need to deal with that is to, first of all, show them love, not to go into the mindset where you react violently and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. You need just to show them that basically this is the choice that you've made, and if they truly love you, they will accept your choices. And that's what you will have to tell them, and you will have to really stick to your guns. And what you will have to do as well is to surround yourself with a supportive community that maybe you can find online or something like that, if people around you cannot really do that. And as long as you do that and you stick to your guns, at the end they will have to accept the way you become. And for example, in the past, I didn't have long hair. I had short hair, and people start to mock me to say that no, you don't have to have long hair. This is for women and stuff like that. But I said to these people, okay, this is my choice. You have to accept that. And today, no one makes comment about that anymore. And in fact, for example, the way I've been able to lose weight, the way I've been able to stay for the past 8 years disease free. Now the same people who were making fun of me, who were mocking me, now they're coming towards me to ask me for advice. So people, you really need to just stick to your gun with love. Show them that this is the path that you've chosen, and that's the way you'll be able to deal with these kind of problems.
That's fascinating. Out of curiosity, how did you fix the hair thing? Like, were you really balding?
Sorry, can you repeat your question?
Yeah, so you mentioned like you grew long hair. Like, were you balding prior to that?
Yes. So before that, before that, my hair was very short, and what I've understood is that your hair are the extension of your nervous system, and when you grow your hair, you will see that you will be able to become more intuitive, and you will see, for example, women they are more intuitive than men, and for example, you look at all these masters, for example, Jesus, he had long hair. You look at Buddha, he's had long hair. You look at yogis, they've got long hair. All these things are, well, for example, you look in the Bible, the story of Samson, who was very strong, and because he had long hair, and as soon as he told this secret to his wife, and his hair was cut, he lost all his powers. So basically, that's why I got into this. But before that, yes, my hair was very, very short.
Wow. So, but you said you're also balding. What do you think was it that improved your balding aspect? Like, was it just the transition to the different plants, or was it like, I guess more specifically, was it like nuts? Was it fruits? Was it vegetables? Like, or some kind of combination to improve that? What do you think it was?
Yeah, I think it was the combination of all that because you have to eat all these things. You need to eat fruit, vegetables, legumes, grain, nuts, and seed. It's a combination of all these things.
Okay. Is there a specific like mineral or minerals that you're looking for when you do that?
Yes, especially what you really look for it's magnesium. You look at potassium. And for example, for me, I eat a lot of bananas, and because every single day I need to have bananas, and I've got lots of potassium, and you need magnesium as well. And for example, something which is really really funny is that when in 2018 I went to have some blood test because people kept telling me, "No, you keep saying that your health is good. How can you prove that? How can you prove us to us that what you're saying is good?" It's true. So I went to the doctors to have some blood work done, and basically they saw that my level of potassium was very high. And what they told me, they said that no, it means that you've got problem with your kidneys. I said no, I don't have any problem. If I have a problem, my body will let me know. They said no, you need to come for another blood test. I went for the second time. Yes, my potassium level was still high. And after that, I told them that I'm not coming back. This is a joke. My body is not telling me that I've got a problem. And it was in 2018. We're in 2024. I don't have any problem with my kidneys. So
Well, there you
yeah.
go. Wow.
So
Okay.
that's why for me personally, I've completely lost trust in the medical system. Obviously, if for example you've got a broken arm or you're involved in a car accident, yes, you need to go to medicine. This is good. Medicine is good to deal with trauma, but not for dealing with chronic diseases.
That's true. That's true. And I actually used to be a paramedic, and so like that was actually my background before I got into the natural health stuff. And yeah, it's okay like in the short term, but the problem is like it's not even their medicine that heals you, it's still your body that's healing you. So even if you
Yeah.
do go to that to basically just like get painkillers, because that's about all they can give you. You're even if you break a bone, it's your body that's healing it. So you still need all the natural stuff to build that bone, right?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
So awesome. So tell me a little bit more about what the after effects were. So you made this transformation, your wife made the transformation too, and you've helped lots of people make the same transformation. What does your life look like now compared to back then before the transformation?
Yeah. So basically now I feel like I'm a completely different person. The old Olivier has already died. He's not alive anymore. I'm a completely different person. For example, just by eating this way, this plant-based nutrition, I've now become more spiritual. For example, I've incorporated meditation. Every day I do meditation. I do mindfulness. I try to be present, to live in the present. I don't stress myself out anymore. For example, even if there's a problem, I don't stress myself anymore. Or if something happened, I try to look the good side. And so a lot of time, what I've noticed is that when something bad happened to you, usually it's a blessing in disguise. But for most people, they just don't understand that. And I've noticed that I understand that we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. So all these I've been able to transform my life. And for example, I don't want to bombard myself with negative stuff anymore. So for example, since 2017 up to this day, I don't watch TV anymore. I don't buy the newspaper anymore. So, for example, if you have to ask me now what's going on in the world, I will tell you I don't know because I don't want all this negative stuff to get into me. And that's how they control people by making them fearful and stuff like that. So I've completely stopped with all these things. So now I only watch what is positive for me, what will give me something. Because when you look, for example, at the news, 99% of what they tell you, or they will tell you, for example, there's a bank which has been robbed, a woman has been raped, this person has been killed. It's always negative stuff. And when you look at that, basically, when you are always in fearful mode, in fear mode, basically your body will start producing adrenaline and cortisol. Cortisol will impair your immune system, and when your immune system is impaired, you will be open to any kind of diseases. And with adrenaline, it will make your heart beat irregularly. And because of that, I don't want to be in fear mode, and that's why I've stopped doing all these things. So I'm a completely different person now.
That's beautiful. So it sounds like it had profound impacts on your nervous system, not just your body. And so where you were able to wake up from the matrix, you were able to see, hey, this is how they control us. Like they want us to be in this low vibe, crap state so that they can keep pushing, all their propaganda and all their drugs and all their control all on us to keep limiting us to where we don't know that we're like these infinite beings that have massive potential, right? But when you start to let go of the things that are holding you back and you didn't even realize, then you can ascend and to become your fullest expression. So out of curiosity, what ways have you been able to do that? I know you said you're more spiritual, but what does that mean in your life exactly?
Yeah, so for example, every morning, I've got a routine now. So every morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is I do my meditation. And I will, when I finish that, I will take some time. For example, my phone, my emails, I will not check that. This is not something that I do. So the first couple of hours, it's for me. My meditation, I stay quiet. I just try to get into myself, think, be in my own thought. So that's what I do every single day instead of just like most people will do. As soon as they wake up, the first thing that they will do is to check their phones, check their emails, check what's going on in the social media. But for me, the first thing that I do is to turn inward. It's for me first. So I do my meditation. I do this thing, and for example, I will go as well to do some to walk in in nature, because we need to really be in contact with nature, breathe fresh air, because most people don't know that in our homes it's very toxic because of the cleaning product, the hairspray, the deodorant, the perfume, the electrical devices, the Wi-Fi, the electromagnetic frequencies. All these are very are not conducive to good health. And that's why, for example, I will do regular trip to the park where I can breathe fresh air. I can be in contact with nature and all that. So that's the routine that I do in my daily.
That's beautiful. Yeah, and I do something similar too. Even when I wake up, I try to imagine like what's the thing that I'm grateful for today, And usually like, and I've actually trained my body to just do that instinctually. So like, that's it's kind of like as I start to wake up, I'll hear birds chirping like, oh, I'm grateful for that, or like, oh, the sun's out, I'm grateful for that, or oh, it's not cold, or it's not hot, like. So then like just like all the different things that I can be grateful for, and it just puts me in such a great state, just like from that day on. And I know it's like that kind of like sets the stage for the rest of the day. So it's very important to do that. So they call it like gratitude, like early morning gratitude
Yeah.
meditation or what have you. But like once it becomes a part of you, it just like it compounds over time. And then
Yeah,
it sounds
exactly.
similar
Even
to
for
you.
example at night. Yeah, for example, at night, every night before I go to sleep, I will do some journaling. I will try to find something that are three things that I've been grateful for that day. Because what people need to understand is that being grateful is something that is very, very good. Because when you cannot be happy with what you've got, it's difficult for the universe to even give you more. So you need to be really, really grateful. And that's what I do every night. I need to see three things that have been really grateful for me during the day. So that's all the processes that I go through. And before my transformation, I didn't even know that all these things existed. I was really sleepwalking, basically, in the matrix.
Yeah, yeah, and I know what you mean because like we don't realize like what kind of effects like the media has, even like the music that we listen to, like it does shift our state, right? And so like maybe you were having a good day, but then you listen to a song that reminded you of like your ex or some kind of breakup, and now you're just like on a downward spiral, right? So it's very important to pay attention to like how things affect you. So you can't control the environment, but you can control what environment you are in. So that's very important. That goes for not just your external environment, but also your internal environment, which leads back to what we were talking about, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're controlling our environment internally, because we have bacteria, we have a bunch of like microbes and like lots of different cells growing in us and like doing their thing. We have to be basically think of like yourself as a planet, right? So you have to grow the right kinds of, flora and fauna within yourself so that you can then be the most productive and the most happy, most fulfilled version of yourself. So before we go ahead and conclude and open up to our audience for some questions, what does it mean to be adaptive to you?
Yeah, so for me, adaptive means the capacity to change or to adjust to different condition or environment. So, for example, in my own case now, 98% of what I eat is raw. Raw food, and 2% of what I eat is cooked food. And basically, this is what I do every single day. But for example, when I go, for example, to visit my family, some of my family in Africa, for example. Over there, for example, I will try to adapt. So instead of eating raw food, 98%, I will maybe start to eat a little bit of more of cooked food. So you are just adapt your system in that kind of way. Or for example, I'm in the houses, and because, like I said, I don't watch TV, I don't watch all these things. But when I'm in the house, so I cannot tell them, okay, just turn off the TV. What I will do, I will just stay there, but my mind will be elsewhere. I'm not going to pay attention to what's going on, for example, in the news. So that's how I'm saying adaptive. So it's the capacity to be able to adapt to environment and circumstances.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. And that kind of ties into what one of my little famous sayings is, you must be the glitch you wish to see, right? So take these things into consideration, everyone. Apply them to your life as best as you can. And if you need any help or you want more recommendations, reach out to us. Real quick, what are your top 5 staples of what you normally eat? I'm very curious to know. I wonder if it's the same as me.
Yeah. So what I really eat most of the time, first of all, it's fruit. So it's fruit first of all, and like I said, because I eat 98% of what I eat is raw. So I would say fruit. I would say salad that I eat every day. And among the cooked food, I will have tofu. Tofu. I like tofu. I like mushrooms. I like broccoli. I like potatoes. Because even here at home, sometimes they say this is for German. Yeah, I really like potatoes. So that's the kind of food that I really like.
Awesome. Yeah, I love those too, especially mushrooms. It's like my most favorite of all. I could eat mushrooms all day for forever. It's my favorite. Awesome. Well, thank you so
Yeah.
much, Olivier. We're going to go ahead and open up to the rest of the people that might have questions. So let's go ahead and transition into that. So thanks again, and let's go ahead and switch to that. So if you guys are in our Discord chat right now, go ahead and unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and if you have any questions, go ahead and ask Olivier. So we got Shanique in here. Good to see you, Shanique. Feel free to unmute, Shanique, if you would like to, and ask any questions. Let me see if anyone left any comments. If you guys also have comments on YouTube, go ahead and drop those in.
Hi. Well, no, I don't have questions, but thank you, Oliver, for sharing your journey, changing with us. Actually, it's very inspiring, and I feel also in the same way. Like you are very right about the news and all the information the world share with us, and we are fulfilled of all that bad information, right? So actually, I think the best way to avoid that in our minds is to stay away of that information. But thank you for remind us and also to inspiring us.
Yeah, that's fun. I'm really I'm happy for doing that. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and I love your story. Like that's a lot of weight to lose. That's a lot of weight to lose. So what do you think was it that changed the most? Was it the fruits, or like if you had just narrow it down to one thing, like was it mostly the bananas?
Yeah, I think it's the fruit. The fruit, because when you look at the fruit have got very less calorie, less calorie for the fruit. And when you look, for example, the best food by excellence for the human being is fruit, because at the core we are frugivores, just like the monkeys, the gorillas, and all that. So it's fruit which is the best. And when you look, for example, at the bowel transit time, you will see that, for example, if you eat a piece of fruit, it will take only 3 to 4 hours to pass through a system. If you eat raw vegetables, it will take around 12 hours. You eat cooked vegetables, it will take between 24 and 30 hours to pass through a system. But when you eat fish, meat, or chicken, it takes 72 hours or 3 days. So when you look, for example, when you eat the fruit, your body will not have to spend a lot of energy to digest the food. And when you look at all the fruit, they've got enzymes, so your body will not have to produce enzymes. So basically, the body will have to, when you eat mostly fruit, the body will spend less energy to digest those fruit, and the excess energy the body will use that to heal and cleanse, and that's why you'll be able to really to not put on weight. So I think for me, I think the best is the fruit. That's what has played a biggest part in my weight loss. And what I can add as well is the intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is very, very important, because in the society we've been told that, oh, we need to eat constantly. They will tell you need to eat, that will give you the strength. While people don't understand that 80% of your energy will be used to digest the food. 80%, which means that the digestion is very, very heavy on the system. And when you keep eating all the time, what will happen is that your body will have to produce insulin all the time. So every time when you eat, when you snack, the body will have to produce insulin. And because of that, you will start, it will create the cellular aging. You will tend to age very quickly. And what people need to understand as well is that when you're not digesting food, the body will have to produce what is called the human growth hormone. And the human growth hormone is very important, and it's there to for the growth of your tissues. So it's very, very important. But the body can only produce the human growth hormone when the insulin is not produced. But when you're constantly digesting food, the body won't be able to produce the human growth hormone. And what people need also to understand is that the healing and cleansing process can only be done when you're not digesting food. It's like, for example, if you've got your car, you bring that to the garage, you can't drive it at the same time. So the body can only do the healing and cleansing when not digesting food. As soon as you start eating something, the body stops that process. And what people need to understand as well is that when you're doing intermittent fasting, the body will go through a process which is called autophagy, where the body eats its own waste. And this is very important. And as well, there was, like, for example, an experiment which was done with rats. They divided the rat into two groups. One group were overfed, and the other group were fed less. And what the scientists were able to discover is that at the end of the experiment, the rat who were eating less were able to live up to 50% more than the overfed rat. So what people need to understand is that if you really want to develop a very strong immune system, you need to eat less frequently. I'm not saying to people to eating a very small portion of food. No, that's not what I'm saying. What people need to do, you need to eat until you feel satisfied, but you need to eat less frequently. And that's why, for example, for me, I only eat twice a day. I eat at 12 p.m. and at 6 p.m. And in between, I don't eat, I don't have any snacks. And that's why, for example, like I've said, when you do intermittent fasting, you will be able to slow down your aging process. And that's why, for example, it's happened to me. I'm 54 and people don't even see that. And that's why, for example, even when I'm walking in the street, you will see kids maybe who are, I don't know, 15, 20, they will come, they will ask me questions, or they will try to joke with me because they can't guess that I'm 54.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive. Out of curiosity, what is your favorite fruits?
Mango.
Mango. Oh, I like mango. Are you into
Yeah.
jackfruit at all?
Yeah.
You like jackfruit?
No, I've already been told that jackfruit is very, very tasty, but I've
Yeah.
never tried that. I would really like to try the jackfruit.
It's really good. I would say it's my second favorite, but my first favorite, and uh you can actually find this in Mexico. So, Shanique, you want to tell him about mamey? Like, it is literally the best
Yeah, I've already
fruit. Oh, you
I've heard
have?
that that was.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I've heard about that as well, but I need to try that. I really, really want to try that.
Yeah, it literally is like nature's flan. Like, it tastes like you're eating a dessert, but it's a fruit, and it's so good. It's like the best fruit ever.
Yeah,
And then there's also graviola, which is I forget the other. I'm saying the scientific name, but basically, it's also found in Mexico, and they say that it actually is really good as being anti-cancer as well. So, and you can find both in Mexico. And like, I do miss Mexico. Like, she's actually from Playa del Carmen, which I've been there many times, and it's one of my favorite vacation spots. Um, they like the fruit is like everywhere, and it's so cheap. And like, I miss that so
yeah,
much. It's like so easy to be like a frugivore there, because like it just grows. Like coconuts just grow naturally, and papayas everywhere, and you just have like literally like an entire jungle, like an endless jungle of like these wild fruits growing. And so like they're constantly, they have like
yeah,
all this like fresh fruit, and like it's so great. I love Mexico. Plus it's less processed.
yeah,
Like they're actually trying to kick out Monsanto from Mexico because they realize like, hey, all these GMOs, they're intermingling with the organic stuff, so it's like contaminating it in that way. And then
Yeah.
Monsanto tries to play all these weird legal games of like saying, oh well, your plant is now crossed with ours, so we own it legally. Like, so they're just like, no, get out of our country. We don't want you here. And I wish America was like that, because in America we take 80% of the drugs, and we're ranked 43rd, I believe it is, and like health wise, like that's terrible. We're like behind like many third world countries. Like for like for taking 80% of the drugs, if drugs were the solution, we'd be number
Yeah.
one, right? But that's not like that.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. It's like, for example, I've read somewhere that when you look in United States, the illegal drugs kill 30,000 people a year. But when you look at medication, it kills 800,000 people a year. That they're doing the war against the illegal drugs, which is bizarre.
Well, follow the money, right? If you follow the money, it all
Yeah,
makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah, definitely.
Well, cool. So, do you have any questions for us, or Shanique? Do you have any other questions for him? I'll double check to see if YouTube has any other questions here. We got somebody watching on YouTube. You should tell us what your questions are. Go ahead and type it right now. No, nothing. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and conclude then. So, if you guys have any questions after the fact, feel free to drop them in the comments, and then we'll get back to you as soon as we can. And so, if you guys want to know more in the future, if Olivier wants to be part of our network of AQ Adaptive Intelligence, we will actually have a page specifically dedicated to him and everything that he has to offer. So again, Olivier, thank you so much for all the wisdom you shared. What an amazing transformation, and I still can't believe you're, almost approaching, in your 60s, and you look like you're totally not. So good job, and good job on, losing all that weight, and like, really taking the initiative to help educate humanity on what is possible. And that's what we're all about. So thank you. So everyone, thank you, and stay smart, stay adaptive. We'll catch you next time. Okay, so now we're doing the outro. Give me 1 second. Okay, so while it's doing that, I'm also going to change the thumbnail as well for the live stream, so that way it shows up really good. I already have it ready, I just need to put it in there. Oh, I think it needs to stop the stream in order for me to do that. Okay, we're almost there.